Hey everybody, happy Monday. Coming at you with today's Mindset Makeover. This is a topic that, hey, I think we all struggle with. I am definitely going to confess probably a couple of times today that I certainly struggle with this. Today we're going to be talking about just that evil thing called comparing yourself to other people. We're going to talk about seeking approval, looking for those likes, those kind of things. So, yeah, we're going to be kind of covering some rough topics because I think we all fall into these patterns. But I think that I might have a couple of things to help you out. So stay tuned. I do have 2 tips today to help you change your focus and hopefully change your outcomes. All right, so what are we talking about? Well, how many of us post on social media? Yeah, well, here you are, you post, right? But then we kind of incessantly go back and check. How many people have seen my post? Who liked my post? Who commented on my post? Did anybody? I hope they said, what did they say? Oh my gosh, that person liked me. That's really cool, right? And we get kind of that rush from going back and checking in on it. And so who's there? Who's with me on that? Who does that? Let's just confess and let's give me a hand raise emoticon on that one that yes, I post and then I go back and I check and it really means a lot to me if people like it. Okay, but then who else is with me on this one that you go back and like nobody really has liked it, or like maybe 1 or 2 of like your loyal girls like Jenny, she'll like your post but not anybody else really. And different than when everybody's liking it and people are sharing your post and you're getting all these great comments and all of a sudden you're on this roller coaster high, right? But then you check back and nobody has liked it and then you're like feeling really crappy about yourself, right? Who else has been there, right? We've kind of all done that, haven't we? We're really looking for approval from other people. Okay, so that's like scenario 1. How about scenario 2 where you've actually posted something and nobody liked it and you deleted it? Who's guilty? Anybody? Give me a hand raise on that one if you've actually deleted a post because nobody liked it. Okay, maybe once I might have done that, truth be told, because yeah, you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have put that out there. Nobody likes me, right? So we're going to kind of talk about that too, right? Okay, and then how about scenario 3, one last one. Have you found yourself in the comparison cave? All right, you guys know what this is. This is where you are kind of rolling along and you're doing some of that social media scoping out that we do, or where you're like maybe spying on people a little bit, stalking them, and you find yourself just in that slump of comparing everything that's going on in their life, their successes, their happiness, the fun that they're having, the trips they're going on, to what you're doing. And of course, it never seems to compare. And you find yourself in that cave of, my life stinks, and I'm so not like anyone else, and everyone's doing better than me, and everybody is more successful than me, and it seems to come so easy for them, right? Who's with me on that? Anybody? Comparison cave? Okay. So those are the things that we're going to talk about today. Kind of a tough subject, right? Because real talk, like we all fall into this stuff. And so I've been thinking a lot about it. And so I thought maybe I could come up with some ideas to help us all with this and things that we can all work on. All right, so we're going to adjust focus, right? So this isn't about like necessarily doing something different, but it's about changing your focus so that these things don't take you on the roller coaster, that emotional roller coaster that we get ourselves caught up on. All right, so let's talk about the comparison cave first, okay? The fact is that we actually make most of our judgments or assumptions on false information, right? Where we actually think that stuff is going so easy for people, or their life is so great. And we don't necessarily have facts to back that up. We don't really know. We don't know that their personal life is that great. In fact, if we're really honest about it, even what we post on social media tends to be the better stuff, right? So, and that's not necessarily the most accurate way about how our lives are going. So certainly everybody else is probably more similar to that. All right, so we have to remember that we are making those comparisons on what we think we know, not actual facts, you guys. So recognize that. So that's the beginning. That's that first click in the adjustment on your focus, right? And so we need to start to reality test. We need to start to say, okay, what facts do we really have about this other person and the way that they're doing things or the success that they're having? What facts do we really have about that? Well, we probably don't have a ton of real facts about that. So what do we need to do? Well, if it's somebody who you actually have a relationship with, then why don't you go ahead and ask? Why don't you ask them, what are you doing? And how are you managing to have this much success? Or how do you have that much freedom in your life to do all of these fun things? Or can you kind of clue me in? Like, let's just have a conversation. So asking, that's one thing we can do, right? When we're stuck in the comparison cave. Get out of it, reality test, ask, get the facts, okay? And another thing is we could research so we can learn. So how do people become successful? What does give them more freedom? So just start to do some research, learn some ways that maybe you can make some changes in your own life. And so instead of just focusing on they have it all and I have nothing, instead just start to learn some things that you can maybe do. Maybe watch a Mindset Makeover with Barb. And maybe that would be helpful. But learn some things, do some research on it. So here's another thing is take an inventory, okay? If you're stuck in the comparison cave and all you're thinking about is how everybody else seems to have it so easy, how it's coming so easily for them, how much more successful they are, how quicker they're finding their success, then do an inventory, okay? And this isn't always the easiest thing to do, you guys, but we have to look at the difference between knowing and understanding, okay? So a lot of times, whether it's at your job, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's in your spiritual life, whether it's in your business, your own business, there are some things that you understand, like I have to do these things. This is how life works. This is what makes life go well, okay? And so you have an understanding of those things. But where the inventory comes in is I may understand them, but am I actually doing them? Okay, so you want to do the things that you know make life work. All right, it's in the practicing of it. That's where we begin to really know. And when we know, we do more of it, okay? So it's like the proof is actually in the pudding. Like you actually have to be doing things. So check, because you may be thinking that you know that you're doing, but what you really have going on is an understanding of the steps that it would take or the things that you're supposed to be doing in order to be successful in your business, in order to be happier in your life. But are you actually taking that understanding, making it a knowledge, and beginning to apply it to what you actually do, to your actions in life, okay? It's a tough one. That sometimes is a tough reality to take a look at, but important because it does help you shift your focus to your own actions and goals and away from what everybody else seems to be doing and what you believe that they're doing, right? So instead, shift your focus to what are my actions? What are the things that I'm doing? What are my goals? And live there and focus there, because when you have a laser focus on your own goals and the actions that it's going to take to get there, guess what? results. That's right. So the inventory. All right. So ready for focus adjustment number 2. Hey, you guys, thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. I didn't even mention that yet, but I'm really grateful for y'all being here and letting me share some of my thoughts with you. I appreciate that today. All right. Adjustment number 2. This is about that approval roller coaster, right? Where everybody loves me and look at all my likes and I'm on the high, and then nobody even looked at my post and now I'm on the low and I feel like crap about my life. All right, we're getting off that thing. We're getting off of that roller coaster and not plummeting to those depths of self-criticism when people don't seem to be paying attention to us, okay? So if your mood is dependent upon what others are saying, what others might be thinking, or what others are giving to you or offering you, it's time to shift your focus, okay? Now, there's a lot of different schools of thought about where to shift your focus or how to do this. And so really one of the first things that you want to check in on is, what's your moral compass? What is your value system? Or better yet, what's your higher belief or code? Okay. For me, it's God, it's Christ. And that's where my higher beliefs are. That's where I align my code with my life and my goals of what I need to be focused on, right? But for other people, it may be other things. So just check in on that. But here's the caveat to that. You cannot have your focus be internal and all about you. Okay, that's where you get caught up in that roller coaster, you guys. It can't be about me and how much I love myself and if I feel good about me, because then what we do is we get caught up in our own head and we need validation from the outside. And then that validation comes in the form of a post. And did anybody like me? Because if they like me, then I'm right. I'm a good person, right? Yeah, that's where the roller coaster comes from. So check. If your value system is all internal, we got to move it external, right? You need something higher than yourself to be checking in on so that you can align yourself with that. All right, so here's some additional thoughts about that. Think about, all right, we've all heard the give to receive, right? Well, I just gives because I know it's going to come back to me twofold or whatever. Like, we've heard that. But let's shift that focus and think about giving just to give, right? What if we were to just give and not be expecting the return on the give, right? And so if we align ourselves with that higher belief system, if we align ourselves away from our own self-focus, we're not so easily driven to those highs and lows of the approval roller coaster. And instead, if we give to give, if we love just to love, then what we're doing is we're going to be able to ride the continuous high that just comes from loving on others and comes from that feeling that you get when you give, even when no one knows that you gave, right? And so it's about just being kind. It's about avoiding judgment and criticism of others, and instead just giving. Giving grace sometimes is all you need to do, but just giving to them so that you shift your focus away from your own harsh criticisms and judgments of ourselves, right? Oh boy, totally guilty of that. And we just start to focus on the good in other people, which helps us pull out the good in ourselves. And guess what the result is? You start to receive, you start to have self-approval automatically from that. So that is the way to get off of that approval roller coaster, I think. Hey, you guys, I would love to hear your comments and ideas about some of this, because look, this is just me kind of sharing with you some of the things I've been thinking about, but what you think about too is so important to me, and I want to hear back. So I know I just said not to do this about checking back in on the likes and the approval, but I am totally checking back in on this video in the comments, you guys, because I really, I'm not joking, I I really do want to have some discussion about this content today, more than any other day. So I love the hearts and the thumbs up and the likes and the comments and people joining. Thank you so much. Make sure to hop back on and join from the beginning if you missed any part of this, because it doesn't make sense if you hop on in the middle. You got to see the first part. So thanks a lot. Hey, you guys, get out there and share a smile, give somebody a hug today, take a walk outside, get outside, breathe some fresh air. And if you found value in this, I would so appreciate it if you could just hit that share button, let somebody know, tag them in the post so that they can maybe get a little bit of value from this as well. Thanks again for tuning in, you guys. Have a great night. We'll talk soon. Bye.